Welcome everyone to an adaptive chair yoga practice. And so I'd like to shout out that the new advanced yoga is accessible yoga. So yoga for everyone. And so when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to bring your hands together at your heart center, palms together. And imagining a flame in front of your heart. And so take a moment to notice how it feels to have your hands in this placement. So this makes you lose your balance in any way, choose another placement for your hands. And so we never forfeit balance to come into a poser movement. And then when you're ready, an invitation to lift your heart to your hands, bowing your head to your heart. Take a moment to allow yourself to consciously enter into the present. Release your arms down by your sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits and wavy fidgets. So shake your hands vigorously. And so if anything I share with you feels uncomfortable, if it hurts, if even the most gentle movement causes pain, I'd like to invite you to explore visualizing movement. Imagination is powerful. So that might be a lovely starting point. And then when you're ready, let's do our centering practice. So ground through your feet. The center and ground through the soles of your feet. So we want to keep our connection with Mother Nature. We tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones. So maybe notice where your bottom and your thighs are in contact with your seat. And then energy moving in two directions. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And from here, we'll transition into mindful movement. And so I'd like to invite you to bring your hands in front of you, about at the level of your heart, palms facing each other. Inhale, draw your hands towards each other. And on your exhale, hands move away. So gentle movement, inhale, drawing your hands towards each other. Exhale, hands move away. And then when you're ready, turn your palms face up on inhale, reaching up to the sky. Palms face down towards the earth. And so palms face up, reaching up, maybe feeling the lightness. On exhale, palms face down, a grounding sensation. Inhale. Palms face down, release. Release your arms by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. Maybe even taking a moment to notice which feels better for you. Resting your palms face up, or does it feel better to rest your palms face down? And so if you're tired, I'd like to invite you to explore resting your palms face up, open to receive. If you are feeling restless, scattered, palms face down can help ground us a little. And then when you're ready, an invitation to begin to move your gaze downward. So moving away from the busyness in our minds and more towards our heart. Allow your facial muscles to soften and release. Our jaw is relaxed. Breath is calm. And so from here, I'd like to introduce my Tibetan singing bowl. And so I'll ring it 3 times at the beginning of the class, and again 3 times at the end to take you out of your final relaxation. And so it's believed that the vibration from the sound of a Tibetan singing bowl can help relieve pain. And so don't take my word for anything. Notice how you feel. Investigate. And so from here, let's transition into a gentle warm-up for our neck and shoulders. And so when you're ready, begin with simple neck rolls. See if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. Move your head in the other direction. Move your head up and down as if nodding yes. And from side to side as if nodding no. And tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then move your chin up and then down. We'd like to intensify the stretch a little bit. Release your left arm down by your side. Come on back center. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Release your right arm by your side if you'd like. And chin up and down. And bring your head back center. And from here, transitioning into shoulder circles. Soft, organic movements, nothing rigid. And then other direction. And maybe exploring alternating from side to side. So motion is notion. And then reverse. And palms face up. Take your hands up to your shoulders and then stretch your palms. Hands to our shoulders. Stretch your palms. Maybe alternate from side to side. So anytime we move asymmetrically, this is good for our brain health, particularly our memory. Release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open. Take your hands up to your shoulders, and then imagine you're drawing circles with your elbow points. And see if you can create a little half smile, like a little Buddha smile. And so when we smile, it releases saliva. So we want a nice juicy mouth and juicy body. And then move in the opposite direction. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. And so trust that the sensations are there. It's not going to be a big rocket ship across the sky. And then when you're ready, just practice some movements for our hands. So stretch your palms. So feel the skin between your fingers. And then maybe make soft fists. Stretch your palms. Soft fists. And stretch. Soft fists. Circle your wrists in one direction. Circle your wrists in the opposite direction. So even noticing, is one wrist tighter than the other? So we tend to be tighter on one side. And then imagine you're playing piano. So we're getting that synovial fluid, Mother Nature's WD-40 flowing into all the little joints in our hands. Turn your palms face up and circle your thumbs in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. Interlace your fingers loosely or bring your hands together. And then we'll practice the imagining that we are drawing the infinity symbol. So flowing with our breath, magical things. And then move in the opposite direction. When you're ready, release your hands, reach your arms up to the sky. So stretch into the stretch. Get bigger in space. Place your hands on the back of your head, or maybe if it feels better, folding in, press into the palms of your hands. There's a sensitive point there. And together we can shout out, I am, I can, and I will. And with a sigh of relief, release your arms down by your side. Shoulders back and down just a few times. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. And so your natural rhythm, maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And so I'd like to invite you to bring your hands together, rub your palms vigorously. So energize your hands, warm up your hands. And then reaching across, tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. And then reach back, give yourself a pat on the back. And then other side, from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. Reach back, give yourself a pat on the back. And then when you're ready, reach your arm out in front of you. Tap from the top of your hand all the way up to your shoulder. Turn your palm face up, tap down. And then other arm, tapping from the top of your hand up to your shoulder. And then palm face up, tap down. Bring your hands to your Buddha belly and massage your organs. So your liver, your stomach. And then hinging from the hips a little, bring your hands to your lower back and give your lower back a little massage. You can reach up a little higher to where your kidneys and adrenal glands live, sending them love. And then sweeping your hands forward, whoosh, letting it go. Whoosh. And when you're ready, sweep your hands down along your thighs, maybe coming to your knees if it feels okay for you. And down a little further, right down to wherever you can reach comfortably. And then sweep back up. And one more time, sweeping down along your thighs or knees. You're coming down to your feet. And sweep back up. Bring your hands just a few inches apart in front of you. Soften your gaze or close your eyes softly and notice any subtle sensation. Curious if anyone felt anything between their hands. Sometimes they're super sensitive. You might feel heat, coolness. Okay, so moving on, let's come into, today I'd like to, because it's early in the day for practice, I'd like to practice a more energizing breath. And so this is called breath of joy. And so we inhale through our nose 3 times, adding arm movements if you'd like. And then on the exhale, it's a big sound, dropping our arms. So together, when you're ready, inhale, 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 and drop. 2 more times. Inhale, 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 and drop. Inhale. Breath of joy. Inhale, inhale, and good stuff. Okay. So let's give our hands a little shake out, little wiggly fidgets. We do a little bum dance. And at this point, if you can walk your hips forward in the chair about 2/3 of the way, go for it. And so if you're needing the back of the chair for support, honor that. So yoga meets us right where we are. And so from here, let's transition into a practice called sun breath. And so meditation on the heart. When you're ready, bring your hands together at your heart center. And so this placement of your hands might feel comfortable for you, or it might feel better to place your hands on your Buddha belly. And so as you're ready, moving with your breath, inhale, extend your arms up and away. So to whatever height that you like. And then bring your hands back together at your heart center. And maybe your Buddha belly. Inhale, extending up and away. And so if you'd like, imagine the sun at your heart center. And on your inhales, as you extend your arms away from you, imagine the radiant rays of the sun all around you. And then gather that light and bring it back inside as a symbol of the light that's always inside us. Inhale, and then on our exhale, if you'd like, making a humming sound like a bee or chanting Om. Inhale. Inhale. Place one hand on your yoga belly, the area between your navel and your pubic bone, the other hand on your heart center. And you're just taking a moment to feel the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And drop your chin towards your chest. Release your arms by your sides. Spiral your palms open and wiggly fidgets again. Wiggly fidgets. And so let's actually practice a couple of shoulder openers. And then from there, we'll move into the movements of the spine. So when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to bend your elbows. Fingers reach for the sky. Take hold of your left elbow point with your right palm. So this is a modified version of eagle pose. When you're ready, draw your left arm in towards the midline. Soften the top of your left shoulder. On inhale, maybe reaching up a little higher. On exhale, release. Inhale, moving up a little higher. This time, if you like, hinging from the hips, come forward a little. Slowly come out of the pose. Release your arm. Nice. And take a moment. And we'll come into the pose on the other side. So as you're ready, elbows are bent. Cup your right elbow point with your left palm. Draw your arm in towards your heart. Soften your right shoulder away from your ear. On inhale, maybe reaching up a little higher. Exhale, release. Inhale. And this time hinging from the hips, maybe come forward a little if you like. So eagle pose. Slowly come out of the pose. Release your arms and take a rest. Feel your work. And so, movements of the spine. When you're ready, draw your hands in towards your hip creases. As you do, begin to turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. So it might be that your eyes meet where the ceiling meets the wall. So be careful not to throw your head back. And so you'll know your head's back too far if it's difficult to swallow. And we'll stay here for a few breaths or as long as feels comfortable. And return your gaze on the horizon. And then from here, we'll come into a cat and cow movement. So I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can get a better view of what's going on with the spine. And so if you can bring your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance, go for it. Knees in line with your ankles. It's okay to have your toes turned out a little. Rest your hands on your knees or your thighs. On your next exhale, round your back. So this is the cat piece, happy cat. And then on inhale, draw your hands in towards your hip creases. Arch your back. Cow. Exhale, round your back. As you round your back, draw your navel in towards your spine. Inhale, arch. So spine looks like a smile. Exhale, round. And so in your own time and rhythm, just for a few more breaths, for as long as feels comfortable, I'd like to invite you to keep this gentle massage for your spine flowing. And so move in a way that feels natural for you. So natural that your movements and your breath become one. And slowly come on back to a neutral spine. Walk your feet back so that your knees are about hip distance apart. So a little trick for hip distance is 2 fists between our knees. And then just taking a moment to notice how this feels. And so often you'll hear me share that it's not about what we look like in our yoga practice. The diagnostic tool is, how do I feel? And so when you're ready, let's transition into a movement called finding our balance. And so my favorite definition of balance is the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so with that in mind, hinging from the hips, rock forward. So it's not about seeing how far we can go. We just kind of that just right amount of effort and ease. Inhale, come on back up. And so hinging from the hips, rock forward. So noticing sometimes when we come into a forward fold, our chin wants to jut forward. So if your chin's jutting forward, tuck it in slightly. And then rock back up. And so there's something about this rocking movement that our nervous system likes. Remember your little Buddha smile, your little half smile. And then slowly come on back to a neutral spine. Release your arms by your side. Then take a moment and notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. Okay. So let's relax our arms down by our side. This time, shifting our weight from side to side. So opening up our side body a little, extend beyond your wrists, your fingertips. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these movements. Bend your arms low in front of you, gazing straight ahead. That helps us focus our mind. Gently twist from side to side. If you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, you could bend your elbows, fingers reach for the sky, moving with your breath. Inhale to one side, exhale to the other. If you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, bring your elbows in line with your shoulders, so gold pose. So sometimes I like to hear my breath as I'm doing the movements. It helps me focus our mind. So I'm going to inhale and exhale through the nose. Slowly come back to a neutral spine. Float your arms down. Shoulders back and down, and take a rest. A soft Buddha belly, quiet breath. Okay. So let's repose. Make sure your feet are placed evenly on the floor, on your footrest. Sit bones are sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Shoulders back and down just a few times. And then tuck your chin slightly to release the back of your neck. And from here, we'll begin to another version of a side bend. So take hold of the side of your chair for stability, or wherever you need to feel stable and balanced. So it might be that you're in a wheelchair and it feels better to rest your form on your armrest. And so you choose. This is your yoga practice. So you're the expert on your body. And so release your left arm by your side. Spiral your palm open. So if we spiral our palm open before we reach up, we'll always come to the right place for us. And so inhale, take your hand up to your shoulder. Or maybe it feels okay to reach way up and over. And then turn your gaze down towards the floor to release your neck. And then breathe into your ribcage. Can you imagine breathing in below your ribcage? And slowly come out of the pose on this side. And so whatever we practice on one side, we do on the other if possible. And so taking hold of the left side of the chair, release your right arm by your side, spiral your palm open, soft bending your elbow, and take your hand up to your shoulder if you like, tipping to the side, or maybe reaching way up and over. So it might be that it feels better just to have your hands on your hip. So choices, hip, shoulder, maybe reaching way up and over. And so we're stretching from our armpit down along our rib cage, right down to our head. Keep that right sit bone on the chair. And slowly come out of the pose on this side. Release both arms down by your side and take a rest. Oh, so let's come into a seated twist. And so for this one, maybe again, walking your feet out a little wider than outer hip bone distance. Reach your left hand over to your right ear thigh. Right hand comes beside you on the chair or behind you. And so you'll notice we're already into a twist at this point, but let's see if we can go a little deeper. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist. So our head turns left. A soft yoga belly, quiet breath. And slowly unwind. Take a moment and we'll come into the pose on the other side. So reach your right hand over to your left near thigh. Left hand comes beside you, behind you on the chair. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Eyes closed softly or soften your gaze. And slowly unwind. So let's rock and roll, moving in and out of the twist. Reaching up on an inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, reaching up, exhale, twist. Reaching up, exhale, twist. And slowly come on back to neutral spine. Walk your feet back so that your knees are in line with your ankles. Hands resting on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to notice how you feel. So let's come into a gentle warm up for our hips and lower back. So I'd like to invite you to draw your hands in towards your hip creases. And so I like to call this stirring the pot. So when you're ready, moving with your breath. So on an inhale, circle forward. And then pressing back, circle forward. And so it might be micro movements, visualizing the movement, focusing on what we can do. So bring your awareness, a gentle awareness to the space in front of you. beside you, above you, and especially to the space behind you. And trust that you're being supported. And then when you're ready, let's circle back. Other direction. So as you begin to feel your hips soften and release a little, see if you can go a little deeper. So moving your shoulders towards your knees. Of course, we're not going to come all the way down. And slowly come back to a neutral spine. Release your arms by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs. Palm up or down as desired. Your toe heel back in. And notice how's your breath. It's our old friend or breath. Notice any subtle sensations. And so today I think I'd like to include a few movements for feet or ankles and our legs, maybe getting into our hips a little more. And so if you're not doing the movement, I'd like to invite you to visualize the movement. So imagination is powerful. So there's even research now that sometimes shows that imagination's even more powerful than the actual gross movement itself. So energy, prana, our life force goes wherever our breath and our thoughts go. And so as you're ready, sitting up nice and tall, I'd like to invite you to roll up onto the balls of your feet and then back onto your heels. So up onto your toes, back onto your heels. And then maybe alternating from side to side. So again, an asymmetric movement. Good for our brain health. And then when you're ready, toe heel out to the side. Toe heel, toe heel. Come on back, center. And then when you're ready, holding the sides of your chair for stability, hug your right knee in towards your chest and belly. So it might be that you bring your hands behind your thighs to facilitate the movement. And then place your foot back down onto the floor. Foot rest. So let's practice the other side. So hug your left knee in towards your chest and belly. And then release. So let's continue the movement flowing from side to side. So you can imagine, if you like, that you're marching. And then let's challenge our brain a little more. Let's add the opposite arm to leg. So gazing straight ahead. So look in the direction you're going. Don't look back. It's not where we're headed. So opposite arm to leg. And then slowly come on back to stillness. Arms by your side and take a rest. And notice how this feels. And so taking hold of the sides of the chair for stability again. Hug your right knee in towards your chest and belly. Extend your right leg long. Point and flex. So if you have a yoga buddy that can help with the movements, that would be awesome. And then placing your hands behind your thigh. Hug your knee in towards your chest and belly. And release. Sit up tall, hold the sides of your chair for stability. Hug your left knee in towards your chest and belly. Extend your left leg long, point and flex. Clasp your hands behind your thigh, knee to chest, and release. So before we come into our short guided meditation and final relaxation, just do a little warm up for our hips and circle your right leg out to the side. Circle in the opposite direction. And other side, circle away. Rotate inwards. And come on back center. And so I'm just looking at the time. Actually, we have a few more minutes. I think I might share a practice called sun salutation with you. And so seated in the chair, of course, the modified version. And so when you're ready, bring your palms together. And so sun salutation is heating and strengthening. Release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, reach up into mountain pose. So maybe our hands come together in prayer down through the heart. Release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, soft bending your elbows, reach up into mountain. Maybe our hands come together in prayer down through the heart. This time hinging from the hips, rock forward a little. Take hold of the sides of the chair for stability. And then pressing down through your inner heels, lift from the chest. Come on back up. One hand on each near thigh if you like. Hands come together at the hood. Release your arms by your sides. Spiral your palms open. Reach up into mountain. Palms come together in prayer down through the heart. So this time, let's bring our arms out into goddess or cactus arms if you like. Inhale, and then gently twist to the right. Breathing in, lead back at center, gently twist to the left. Come on, back center. Release your arms, stand by your side. Take hold of the left side of your chair, reach your right arm by your side. Spiral your palm open, inhale, reaching way up and over into side bend. Exhale, release. So other side, spiral your palm open, soft bending your elbow, reaching way up and over. Exhale. Bring your hands back together at your heart center. Release your arms by your sides. Spiral your palms open and reach up into mountain. Palms come together in prayer down through the heart. On exhale, hug your right knee in towards your chest and belly. Clasp your hands behind your thigh. Knee to chest. And release. Hands come to our heart. Spiral your palms open. Reach up into mountain. Palms come together in prayer down through the heart. Hug your left knee in towards your chest and belly. Clasp your hands behind your thigh. Knee to chest. And release. And so let's come down off the mountain. So come seated comfortably back in your chair. And so today we'll do a pranayama practice, a breath breathing exercise before we come into the meditation. And so make sure that you're seated comfortably. So effortlessly upright. Shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck, and we'll come into a breathing exercise called 1-to-1 ratio. So this is when we bring our inhales and our exhales so that they're the same length and duration. So this is a calming breathing exercise. And so wherever you are, so I'll cue you with the count of 3. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, take a nice inhale through your nose. Exhale slowly, and we'll begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And so if my count doesn't work for you, if it's too much or too little, adjust the count so that it suits you. And so for a few more breaths on inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And so let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. And so your natural rhythm, maybe observing the rise and fall of your belly. Okay. And so for our meditation today, the meditation I'd like to share with you is by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Zen Buddhist monk. And I think he's 92 or 3 years old. He lives in Vietnam. And yeah, so you'd like to place your hands in a mudra. So mudras, hand gestures, were created to help us focus our mind. And so the one I'm really drawn to these days is diamond mudra. And so that's when we rest our right hand in our left, thumbs connect. And so if that mudra works for you, lovely. If not, choose another hand placement. Draw your hands in towards your hip creases. And so we can think of when our hands come together, think of it as a symbol of connecting with your higher self or your higher power. And then when you're ready, look down and into your heart. See what you can see. And then imagine you're breathing into your heart. And so breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. As my in-breath grows deep, my out-breath grows slow. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Come into whatever position you'd like for your final relaxation. And so if you have the ability to recline, go for it. You want to put your feet up on a chair. I'm going to place a yoga blanket on my thighs again. I can help with grounding. And so close your eyes softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. If you're wearing glasses and you don't mind taking them off for a few moments, go for it. And so Shavasana, Sanskrit word for corpse pose, is meant to be a deep conscious relaxation. And so we're not meant to fall asleep in it. And so let's begin by rolling our shoulders back and down just a few times. So not scrunching our shoulder blades together, but allowing our shoulders to melt away from our ears. Rest your hands, palms face up or down as desired. Soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. Silently, if you'd like, on inhale, saying let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. If it's challenging to quiet the mind, sometimes placing our hands under Buddha belly and bringing our awareness to our breath can be helpful. And so, without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body again. And so our bodies are the best home our mind will ever have. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. Rub the tips of your fingers with your thumbs if you'd like. And then come on up seated comfortably to finish up your yoga practice. So bring your hands to your heart center, lifting your heart to your hands, bowing your head to your heart. Take a moment to honor yourself for showing up for yoga practice today. Thank you, Odin, the behind the scenes awesome tech hosts, ConnecTra and the Disability Foundation for bringing these classes online. And so the teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. Om, peace, peace, peace.